My name is Bo Powell. This is my presentation on why sports gambling should be legalized. This is my keyword outline I will be using. Alright, let's get started. Whether you have legalized sports betting or you haven't, you have. Sports betting is going to occur either way, and if states in the US took steps right now to regulate it, it would be safer for everybody. I'm an avid sports fan that has participated in sports gambling and fantasy sports for the last couple years. The legalization of sports gambling would increase its popularity, create a safer market, and have a positive economic impact for the US. My goal of this speech is to persuade the audience on why sports gambling should be legalized in all 50 states. My first point I want to talk about is the popularity of sports gambling. Sports gambling is one of America's favorite pastimes and is continuing to grow each year. In 2017, the New Jersey Games found over 40 million Americans placed a bet on at least one sporting event, and now 55% of Americans think that sports gambling should be approved in all 50 states. Currently, 19 states, including Washington, D.C., have legalized sports gambling, while there are a couple more that are under legislation as we speak. Sports betting dime writer Sasha Peruk found that in 2018 there were 3 specific events that sports gamblers love to bet on. Those events were the Kentucky Derby, the Super Bowl, and March Madness. The Foundation of Economic Education writer Patrick Hoff found that in 2018, this Super Bowl, over $4.7 billion was wagered on it. To go even further, the New Jersey Games found in that same year of 2018 that $10.4 billion was wagered on March Madness. My personal favorite gambling story for myself came at the Preakness Stakes in 2019. I went up to the counter and I put $100 on a horse named War of Will that was an 8-1 underdog. The horse ended up winning and I got to cash my ticket after the race for $800. It is very important that states begin regulating sports betting now before this gets out of control. Best U.S. Casinos writer James Murray found that in 2019 it was a record year for sports gambling, where casinos brought in $15 billion in revenue. Moving on from popularity, I want to really focus on regulation and how it will protect bettors and the market. Currently, like I said earlier, sports gamblers are going to bet either way, whether it's legal in their state or not, and they are finding ways to bet, including offshore books that cannot be checked or audited. In 2019, ESPN found that $95 billion was wagered on the NFL and college football illegally. Sportsbooks are a better environment for bettors. They're safer and they have more fun. In 2005, Melissa Kearney looked at the risks of betting in offshore books as instead of sportsbooks and found that offshore books are an incredible risk for credit card fraud and other types of fraud. Las Vegas is catching on to this trend, though, that people want to go to sportsbooks. In this past year, the Circa Casino in Las Vegas just put a $20 million renovation into their sportsbook that you can see here. This is the Circa Sportsbook after the renovation. However, even with these online gambling risks, it is improving as companies like DraftKings and FanDuel are putting a lot of money into the security for their customers. However, unlike these offshore accounts, DraftKings and FanDuel are located in the US and sponsored by US professional leagues like the MLB, NASCAR, and UFC. I have personally tried both of these online gambling apps and have found no problem with my information or payouts. Now that we talked about regulation, I want to talk about all the economic benefits that can occur if sports gambling were to be legalized. First is economic tax revenue. Brett Smiley of Sports Handle found that each year since 2017, Native American casinos are bringing in $38 billion in tax revenue. As more states legalize, they're able to use this tax revenue for statewide activities. Elaine Povich of Pew Trust found that in September of 2018, states like Delaware and Mississippi that recently legislated sports gambling are using this newfound tax revenue for things like roads, schools, and other state importances. The second point was that legalizing sports gambling would increase jobs. Not only jobs in casinos, but also increase the traffic around the casinos. This includes places like restaurants and retail shops around the casinos. In June of 2018, the American Gambling Association teamed up with Oxford Economics to do a study on this. They found that the legalization of sports gambling should create about 215,000 jobs and create about $11 billion in total labor income. The third point I want to make is that legalizing sports gambling would result in an increase in the U.S. gross domestic product, which is a really big deal. The New Jersey Games also teamed up with Oxford Economics and found that in 2017 and found that legalizing sports gambling in the U.S. would create a $22 billion increase per year in U.S. gross domestic product. A large part of this spending in gross domestic product would come from advertising, where companies like DraftKings and FanDuel put a lot of money into advertising trying to get customers to use their product. Already this past year, these two companies put about $615 million into advertising. In conclusion, legalizing sports gambling will increase popularity, create a safer market, and create economic benefits for this country. Like I said, Americans want to bet, and they are going to bet. And legalizing sports gambling can make it safer and create benefits for the economy. I hope this speech has informed you on the popularity and possible economic benefits that go along with legalizing sports gambling. I encourage all of you to go out and place a small bet and see what the fun is all about. Thank you.